You know, the Carolina Panthers got their second win of the season in front of their home crowd, but barely anybody showed up in the crowd, and they only sold a limited amount of tickets. And their ticket prices were so low that you could get into this game only paying $3 reportedly. And there was only 5,000 and something fans that even showed up for this game. Now, the reasoning is pretty obvious. Who wants to go support a shit football team in terrible weather conditions? I wouldn't go support this team. The head coach got fired. Their first round pick, who they traded the farm up to get, hasn't looked good. And what is there to even root for anymore? At this point, you just are rooting for the season to be over with so you can get a new head coach in there and then have a reason to be optimistic for next year. So, of course, the fans weren't going to go watch this clown show, even though they won against the Atlanta Falcons. But they're a clown show, too, because they still choose to throw out Desmond Ridder and believe that he has what it takes to be a franchise quarterback. And he pretty much helped you and gifted you a little bit of an early Christmas present with that interception that he threw inside of the red zone, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, like, who's surprised that the Carolina Panthers are having low attendance numbers and they're selling tickets for $3? Like, of course. Why waste your time Saturday or Sunday afternoon to watch a team in bad weather have a good chance of probably losing? Like, yeah, they won this game, but why does it even matter at this point? The season is over. What are they playing for? They're playing for pride and respect under an interim head coach where they're trying to figure out who their new head coach is going to be and who's going to be able to help Bryce Young play at the level that was expected out of him when the Panthers gave up so much to get him. And I mean, who wants to see the Falcons anyway? There's no player on the Falcons that anybody will really be drawn to have to go see. Maybe if you was playing the Ravens, you probably would have a couple of more fans in the stands because everybody loves Lamar and OBJ. But of course, nobody wants to go see this terrible product that David Tepper has put out on the field, man. The attendance numbers for Carolina, I'm surprised that they haven't been even lower. I'm surprised even 5,000 people showed up. I thought only 100 people showed up with the way that the videos were looking, that people were posting on social media who went to this thing. They could barely sell concessions. Like, concessions, excuse me. I said concessions. Concessions. Like, the Carolina Panthers, man, they better make sure that they get a Grand Slam hire at head coach. Because if they don't, this fan base, I mean, it's only going to get more downhill from here. David Tepper, his next head coach needs to be offensive minded. And you definitely need to make sure that this dude has what it takes to have Bryce Young playing at a first overall pick kind of level. Because if not, this franchise is going to continue to bottom out, and they're going to be one of the worst franchises in the NFL. The Panthers, people seem to forget that they had some good moments with Ron Rivera and Cam Newton. They went to a Super Bowl. They won a couple of division titles. They won a few playoff games. There was a reason to be optimistic when Cam Newton was playing at quarterback for this franchise at his peak. Hasn't been a reason to be optimistic ever since he got released the first time. And you brought him back a couple of years ago to try to bring back a little bit of that energy. But after that one game against Arizona, there was nothing else to be able to root for. And you haven't had nothing to root for ever since. And you haven't really had a reason to be optimistic outside of Bryce Young and what you thought he might have been this season. And it's unfortunate that you see C.J. Stroud having the success that he's had this season with Houston. You're like, damn, like, we should have took him, or even Anthony Richardson. These fans are disappointed. Their souls have been ripped out of their body. Like, there are probably fans now who probably don't even care about watching a single game for the rest of this season, unless they just have nothing else to do. If fans don't want to show up to these games, who can blame them? David Tepper has given them an awful product.